If you missed part 1 of Normani's story, click the link in the description below, because right now we are picking up Normani's story right where we left off. Still, before she could take her throne, another challenge was waiting. And this time, it wasn't about fame or fan bases. It was about survival. Because just as she finally started stepping into her own spotlight, life threw her a curveball no one could prepare for. When Fifth Harmony officially went on hiatus in 2018, which, let's be honest, was code for "we're done," the world had its eyes on one person, Normani, the underdog, the one everyone swore would finally get her revenge arc. And for a moment, it looked like she did. Her first big move, Love Lies with Khalid, a slow-burning, sultry duet that oozed chemistry and confidence. The song climbed to the top 10, stayed on the charts for nearly a year, and earned platinum status. It wasn't just a hit, it was validation. The background girl had officially stepped front and center. Then came Dancing with a Stranger with Sam Smith. That one was undeniable. Elegant, mature, and addictive. It racked up hundreds of millions of streams, topped global charts, and proved what fans already knew. Normani wasn't just a performer, she was the performer. And when she dropped Motivation in August 2019, the culture stopped. That video wasn't a music drop, it was a statement. The visuals were pure nostalgia and fire, early 2000s vibes, choreo that paid tribute to Beyoncé, Britney, Janet, every pop icon who paved the way. It was joyful, athletic, black excellence in motion. You could feel it. The arrival moment she'd been waiting for since the X Factor. The song went platinum. The video went viral. The world was ready to crown her. Even legends like Kelly Rowland and Janet Jackson were reposting her clips. For a brief, shining second, it felt like justice. But right as everything was aligning, life hit back hard. In October 2019, just as Motivation peaked, Normani's mother, Andrea, revealed her breast cancer had returned after 19 years in remission. Imagine it, you finally reach your big break, and the person who raised you through every rejection and every stage light suddenly faces a life-threatening battle. Normani's world stopped. She's admitted in interviews that it completely shattered her momentum. The pressure to deliver her debut album turned into guilt. How could she be in the studio while her mom was fighting for her life? Every deadline suddenly felt meaningless. And just when Andrea's health began stabilizing, another bomb dropped. Her father was diagnosed with prostate cancer, both parents fighting cancer at the same time, while she was expected to keep smiling, performing, creating. It wasn't just overwhelming, it was impossible. Normani took breaks. She disappeared for months at a time, choosing family over fame. And honestly, who wouldn't? But in today's music industry, consistency is currency. Algorithms don't care about tragedy. Fans forget fast. Labels get impatient. By the time she resurfaced in 2021 with Wild Side featuring Cardi B, the hype machine had cooled. The video was sleek, the choreography lethal, but something was different. The energy felt muted. She was still killing it, but you could sense the exhaustion behind the perfection. Critics praised it, fans celebrated, but the industry didn't rally behind it the same way. No radio push, no sustained promo. It was like her label didn't know what to do with her, or worse, didn't care. And that's when the whispers started. Where's the album? Is Normani done? Did she peak with Motivation? People didn't understand that she wasn't flopping. She was healing. But the internet doesn't wait for context. It labels, it memes, it moves on. And soon, Normani went from the next Beyoncé to the one who could have been. The silence between releases grew louder. Months turned into years. The headlines shifted from anticipation to frustration. But behind the curtain, Normani was still fighting. Not just for music, but for control. She said openly that she didn't want to drop anything that didn't feel 100% authentic. And in an industry obsessed with speed, that kind of integrity can be career suicide. She called her upcoming debut Dopamine, and the name couldn't have been more symbolic. After years of heartbreak, trauma, and waiting, she wanted to create something that finally felt good, something that sparked joy again. But when Dopamine finally arrived in 2024, after 5 years of hype, it landed with a thud. Critics praised it, but sales were underwhelming. It debuted at number 91 on the Billboard 200, barely scratching the charts. Not because the music was bad, far from it. The rollout was a disaster. No big interviews, minimal promo, and a missed BET Awards performance after she got injured during rehearsals. Everything that could go wrong did. It was like watching someone run a marathon in quicksand. The harder she worked, the less traction she got. Still, the album's name said it all: dopamine, the chemical of joy. The thing she'd been chasing through every setback, every disappointment. And even if the world didn't give her the crown she deserved, she'd already won something bigger: peace. But this story isn't over, because just when people thought Normani had vanished again, she reappeared with a surprise no one saw coming. Not a song, not a feature, but a ring. And baby, that changed everything. Because sometimes the comeback doesn't start on stage. It starts in your personal life. Behind every strong artist is a story the cameras never show. And for Normani, that story is heartbreak wrapped in resilience. While fans were refreshing Twitter asking, "Where's the album?" she was sitting in hospital rooms praying for both of her parents to live. It started with her mom, Andrea. In 2019, after almost 2 decades in remission, Andrea's breast cancer returned. The same disease she had beaten when Normani was just a child had come back, harder, more unpredictable, and right when her daughter's career was finally taking off. Normani called it her worst nightmare. She'd just dropped Motivation, the video was exploding, interviews were flooding in, and she was getting booked left and right. But all of that momentum stopped the second she got that call. Fame suddenly didn't matter anymore. She's talked about how disorienting it was, having to balance conference calls and choreo rehearsals with doctor updates and treatment schedules. Imagine flying across the country to perform on national TV and then FaceTiming your mom between chemotherapy sessions. That's the emotional whiplash she was living in. But if you think that was hard, what came next was unthinkable. Just as Andrea began recovering, Normani's father was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Both of her parents, the people who'd sacrificed everything to move her to Houston after Katrina, who drove her to every audition, who believed in her before the world did, were suddenly fighting for their lives. 2 cancers, 1 family, and 1 daughter caught in the middle of it all. You can almost feel how it broke her spirit. Because when your parents are both battling something that terrifying, music becomes background noise. She told interviewers that she lost her spark during that time, that she couldn't find the creative energy to make the kind of music people expected from her. The studio didn't feel like a sanctuary anymore. It felt like pressure. And that pressure mixed with grief, that's a cocktail that no amount of industry advice can fix. The public, of course, didn't know the full story. Fans saw delays and silence. They didn't see the crying phone calls, the hospital visits, or the nights spent replaying voice notes just to hear her mom's laugh. They didn't see the guilt of choosing between being a daughter and being a star. And through all that pain, her mom still pushed her. Andrea made her promise, "I'll still be here to hear your album." That line stuck with her. It became her motivation when she had none left. Every time she felt like quitting, she remembered that promise, that her mom believed she'd get to see her daughter win again. So even though the industry had moved on, Normani quietly kept working, slowly, painfully, purposefully. She was rebuilding not just her career, but herself. And in a world that equates silence with failure, her story is proof that sometimes silence just means you're surviving. Because while her peers were topping charts, Normani was facing something far more important than fame, the possibility of losing everything she ever loved. But out of that darkness came something unexpected, a new kind of clarity. She realized her value wasn't tied to the charts or the headlines. Her legacy would be defined by what she overcame, not just what she released. And when she finally did step back into the spotlight, bruised but not broken, you could feel it. The energy was different. The confidence was deeper. The woman who'd been through hell was ready to reclaim everything that was taken from her. And this time, she wasn't waiting for the industry's permission. By 2024, the tension around Normani's debut album had reached mythic levels. Every tweet she posted turned into a "Where's the album?" thread. Every photo she uploaded, no matter how innocent, had fans flooding the comments with "Drop it already." What started as excitement had turned into impatience, and what should have been a triumphant moment was becoming a pressure cooker. The album had a name, Dopamine, a title that was both symbolic and painfully ironic. After everything she'd endured, this was supposed to be her moment of release, the serotonin hit after years of struggle. But behind the scenes, the rollout was a storm of delay, injury, and industry neglect. Let's be real, the music industry loves fast food. Quick hits, viral trends, constant output. But Normani, she's the kind of artist who wants to cook a full-course meal. That's a problem when your label only knows how to sell microwavable fame. She teased snippets, shared photos, even launched a cheeky website, where'sthealbum.com, poking fun at the public pressure. Fans loved it. It felt like she was finally taking control of the narrative again. But control doesn't mean power, and power is what her label still held. When Dopamine finally dropped in June 2024, critics loved it. They praised her vocals, the production, the artistry. It felt cohesive, sleek, and grown. It was the kind of R&B pop fusion that only Normani could pull off. Elegant but bold, sensual but thoughtful. But the numbers? Brutal. It debuted at number 91 on the Billboard 200, selling around 12,000 units in its first week. That's not a reflection of quality. That's a reflection of a rollout that had no engine. There was minimal promo, no real radio push. Music videos were teased and never released. And when she was finally booked for a major performance, the BET Awards, she got injured during rehearsals. Another setback, another missed opportunity. Everything that could go wrong did. To make it worse, the narrative shifted from Normani's comeback to Normani's flop. The same blogs that hyped her for years suddenly turned critical, dissecting every choice she made. Fans felt betrayed by the wait. Haters called her lazy. The industry called her unreliable. And all the while, nobody asked the obvious question: why wasn't the label doing its job? Because here's the thing. Artists don't decide release strategies alone. Labels allocate budgets, approve campaigns, and decide what gets greenlit. And Normani's rollout had all the signs of a quiet sabotage. Minimal press, late announcements, and barely their visibility. It's the same pattern that's haunted Black women in pop for decades. Give them the talent, the work ethic, the numbers, but not the backing. Normani herself hinted at her frustration. She told Rolling Stone, "The music means everything to me. And I care too much about what I put out, especially for my fans who have waited so long." That's not diva talk. That's someone begging for control of her own art. And yet, even after the disappointing chart debut, something in her demeanor shifted. She wasn't bitter, she was free. Free from the impossible expectations. Free from trying to be the industry's idea of perfect. Free from the weight of comparison to artists who never had to fight her battles. Because here's the quiet truth about Dopamine. It wasn't meant to dominate the charts. It was meant to detox her spirit. It was a reset button, a declaration that she wasn't done, just rebuilding. And she wasn't rebuilding in silence either. Around this time, her personal life bloomed in a way that finally brought her peace. Something real, something that couldn't be delayed or charted. Because while the industry may have let her down, life had one more twist waiting. One that would remind her that love, not labels, is what lasts. After years of industry limbo, label politics, and emotional burnout, 2024 brought something Normani hadn't felt in a long time. Joy that didn't need approval. In July of that year, the internet lost its mind when photos surfaced of NFL star DK Metcalf down on one knee, surrounded by candles, violins, and what looked like a scene straight out of a romantic movie. Normani thought she was just attending a birthday dinner for DK's sister. Turns out she was the surprise. The clip went viral, her jaw dropping, tears falling, the kind of genuine happiness that made fans emotional. After years of career turbulence and personal pain, she finally had a moment that was purely hers. No managers, no labels, no choreography, just love. It was poetic, really. For someone who had spent her entire career being told to perform perfection, this was a rare glimpse of her simply being happy. The engagement became a viral symbol of her rebirth. Proof that you can lose everything the world values and still win in ways that matter. But Normani wasn't done reclaiming her power. She returned to the public eye with a completely different kind of debut: acting. In January 2024, she premiered in Freaky Tales at the Sundance Film Festival, a gritty, stylized film that marked her transition into Hollywood. Critics praised her natural screen presence, calling her performance surprisingly magnetic. The movie hit theaters in April 2025, introducing her to a whole new audience who had no idea how much she'd already endured. It wasn't just about trying something new, it was about proving that she could thrive outside the boxes the industry kept putting her in. Normani had always been the dancer, the pop girl, the ex-Fifth Harmony member, but now she was rewriting her resume on her own terms. Artist, actress, survivor, fiancé, woman. And if that wasn't enough to get the internet buzzing, she had one more surprise up her sleeve. In August 2025, the impossible happened. At a Jonas Brothers concert, fans suddenly noticed something strange. 4 familiar silhouettes stepping onto the stage. The crowd screamed, lights flared, and then there they were. Normani, Ali, Lauren, and Dinah. Fifth Harmony, minus Camilla, of course. For the first time in 7 years, the remaining 4 members performed Worth It together, and the internet exploded. TikTok clips hit millions of views overnight. Fans sobbed, screamed, tweeted essays. You could feel the nostalgia, but this time it wasn't bittersweet. It was healing. And seeing Normani front and center again, smiling, confident, unbothered, it hit different. It was like watching someone finally step out of the shadow she was never meant to stand in. Since then, whispers of a Fifth Harmony reunion tour have turned into full-on industry rumors. Sources close to the group say conversations are happening, though nothing's official. But the fact that Normani is even part of those talks shows how far she's come, from being sidelined to being the glue holding the group's legacy together. Meanwhile, she's not putting music on pause. In mid-2025, she jumped on Ciara's Ecstasy remix alongside Teyana Taylor, proving she still owns the stage when she wants to. And quietly, she's been teasing a new body of work. A 2025 project that insiders describe as more fearless, more personal, and more unapologetic than ever. So let's take stock. She's conquered pop, survived racism, stood tall through family illness, weathered industry sabotage, launched an acting career, found love, and still hasn't given up on music. That's not a comeback. That's an evolution. Normani's story isn't about revenge or proving anyone wrong. It's about outlasting everyone who doubted her. And as the camera pans forward into 2025 and beyond, the narrative has flipped completely. She's not the girl who didn't drop her album. She's the woman who built a life when the industry tried to break her career. Because fame fades, streams slow down, charts reset. But grace endures. And if the last few years have shown us anything, it's that Normani has enough grace and grit to make sure her next chapter is the one we'll be talking about for years. Because Normani didn't fall off. She rose, quietly, powerfully, and right on time. So here's the truth nobody in the industry wants to admit. Normani didn't fall off. She was failed. Failed by timing, by politics, by the same system that loves Black culture but hesitates to fully back Black women. She had every ingredient to be a global superstar. The voice, the visuals, the work ethic, the it factor that can't be taught. But the industry didn't know what to do with a Black woman who could outdance the pop girls and outsing the R&B ones. So instead of building her up, they slowed her down. They called her inconsistent when she was grieving. They called her lazy when she was healing. They called her a flop when the truth is, she was fighting for her family. And through it all, she never dragged anyone, never went off online, never let the bitterness consume her. She moved with quiet strength, the kind of grace you only learn from pain. Now, standing in 2025, Normani's not chasing validation anymore. She's building legacy. And that's something the charts can't measure. Between her acting debut, her engagement, and the rumored reunion that could rewrite pop history, she's proving that survival is success. Her net worth might sit around $8 million, but her value? You can't put a price on resilience. She's the proof that even when the world sleeps on you, your story isn't over. It's just loading. So if you ever catch yourself wondering, what happened to Normani? Remember this, nothing happened to her. She's still here, thriving, creating, and refusing to play by the industry's broken rules. Because while others were chasing clout, Normani was learning patience. While others were selling drama, she was building peace. And while others were sprinting, she was healing. And now, she's ready to run again. This isn't the end of her story. This is the reset. And when that next era hits, don't say you weren't warned.